Bora Bora is a small South Pacific island northwest of Tahiti in French Polynesia. Renowned for its stunning turquoise waters, white sandy beaches, and luxurious overwater bungalows, Bora Bora is often considered one of the most beautiful islands in the world. Here are some key details about this idyllic destination. Geography: Bora Bora is a volcanic island surrounded by a lagoon and a barrier reef. The island is dominated by the remnants of an extinct volcano, Mount Otemanu, which rises dramatically from the center of the island. Lagoon: the lagoon surrounding Bora Bora is famous for its crystal-clear, shallow waters. It's perfect for snorkeling, swimming, and various water sports activities. Overwater bungalows: Bora Bora is known for its luxurious overwater bungalows, which offer unparalleled views of the lagoon and Mount Otemanu. Many resorts on the island provide these exclusive accommodations, making it a popular destination for honeymooners and couples seeking a romantic getaway. Activities: in addition to water-based activities like snorkeling, scuba diving, and jet skiing, Bora Bora offers opportunities for hiking, exploring the island's lush interior, and experiencing Polynesian culture through traditional dance performances and local cuisine. St. Lucia is a stunning Caribbean island known for its natural beauty, lush rainforests, and pristine beaches. Here are some details about this tropical paradise. Location: St. Lucia is situated in the eastern Caribbean Sea and is part of the Lesser Antilles. Terrain: the island features a diverse terrain, including volcanic peaks, dense rainforests, and beautiful beaches. The most famous landmark is the Twin Peaks of the Pitons, which are UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Activities: St. Lucia offers a wide range of activities for visitors. You can explore the rainforest through hiking trails, zip-lining, or taking a guided tour. Water activities include snorkeling, scuba diving, sailing, and even whale watching. The island also has numerous luxury resorts and spas for relaxation. Cultural heritage: the culture of St. Lucia is a blend of African, French, and English influences. You can experience this through local cuisine, music, such as calypso and reggae, and festivals like the St. Lucia Jazz Festival. Soufriere: this town on the west coast is a popular destination for tourists. It's known for its hot springs, sulfur springs, and the Diamond Botanical Gardens. Soufriere also provides easy access to the Pitons and nearby marine reserves. Marigot Bay: considered one of the most beautiful bays in the Caribbean, Marigot Bay offers picturesque views and is a popular spot for yachting and boating. Climate: St. Lucia has a tropical climate with relatively Fiji. Fiji's serene, powder-soft beaches offer a quiet respite for postnuptial relaxation. Luxe resorts will pamper you and your new spouse, and you won't soon forget activities like snorkeling with manta rays in the Yasawa Islands and surfing near the Mamanuca Islands, which were featured in the movie Cast Away. And, of course, no trip would be complete without a private couple's massage on the beach. You'll also have the opportunity to embrace Fiji's friendly, Beulah culture through village visits to get to know local hosts and traditions. Why go to Fiji? With its turquoise waters, glittering sands, and luxe resorts, Fiji is similar to many other tropical getaways. Likewise, the set of 333 islands caters to lovebirds of all kinds. Plus, adventure seekers, like surfers and divers, appreciate the archipelago's quality waves and coral reefs. But Fiji differs from other island destinations in its otherworldliness. Since it's more than 1,300 miles from New Zealand's North Island in the South Pacific Ocean, Fiji affords you the delectable feeling of seclusion. You'll be as far from reality as possible when you're sipping Fiji bitter beer and watching the sun dip below the horizon. Fijian customs will make you feel a million miles away too. Ever tasted the dizzying kava drink? Or watched men defy Maldives? Number 4 and best for 2024. If you and your sweetheart truly want to get away from it all, head to this remote island chain in the Indian Ocean. Maldives resorts, many of which are on private islands, offer extravagant services and amenities that will make you never want to leave your ultra-luxe bungalow or overwater villa. When you're ready to venture out, visit the nearest tranquil beaches and spas or take an excursion to neighboring islands. And since the Maldives are home to more than 2,000 distinct coral reefs, snorkeling and scuba diving are also a must. Why go to Maldives? You've seen photos of the Maldives before. Picture-perfect private villas suspended over striking blue waters, alabaster white sand beaches and spectacular sunsets dipping into the horizon. The scenic beauty of the Maldives is something to behold, something you can't quite understand until you're there in person. The island nation of the Maldives is popular with honeymooners looking for seclusion and adventurers looking to explore the depths of the sea on a scuba diving or snorkeling excursion. If you don't fall into either category, consider that the Maldives' appeal has broadened in recent years. Today, honeymooners and divers are joined by a more diverse mix of families, groups of friends, and even solo travelers seeking wellness retreats or budget vacations in guest houses rather than resorts. Travelers seeking the ultimate in relaxation can unwind at one of the many superb resort spas, and all visitors should certainly spend an afternoon exploring an inhabited island village to get a snapshot of typical island life. The resorts in this region are also spectacular, ranging from underwater hotels to overwater bungalows to incredibly beautiful resorts. However, getting to and staying in this tropical paradise requires patience. There are no direct flights from the United States, and plentiful cash. Bali, Indonesia. Bali lies in southern Indonesia, between the islands of Java and Lombok. It is considered the most popular tourist destination in the country, and is especially attractive for backpackers, budget travelers, and digital nomads. Its world-famous diving and snorkeling locations bring millions of tourists to the island every year and have encouraged many digital nomads, entrepreneurs, and remote workers to make it their permanent home. Bali has every Maui is the second largest island of the state of Hawaii at 727.2 square miles, 1,883 square kilometers, and the 17th largest island in the United States. Maui is the largest of Maui County's 4 islands, which also include Molokai, Lanai, and unpopulated Kaho'ula. In 2020, Maui had a population of 168,307, the third highest of the Hawaiian Islands, behind Oahu and Hawaii Island. Kahului is the largest census-designated place, CDP, on the island, with a population of 28,219 as of 2020, and the island's commercial and financial hub. 6. Wailuku is the seat of Maui County and is the third largest CDP as of 2010. Other significant populated areas include Kihei, including Wailea and Makena in the Kihei Town CDP, the island's second most populated CDP, Lahaina, including Kaanapali and Kapalua in the Lahaina Town CDP, and Upcountry Maui, including Makawao, Pukalani, and Kula. Originally part of Maui Nui, Maui is dominated by 2 volcanic features, Haleakala in the southeast, and the West Maui Mountains in the northwest. The 2 volcanoes are connected by a small isthmus about 6 miles wide that gives the island its nickname, the Valley Isle. Maui has a significant tourism industry, with nearly 3 million visitors coming to the island in 2022. A 2023 report based on 2017 data concluded that nearly 40% of Maui County's economy was generated or induced by tourism. Popular tourist destinations include the resorts in the Kaanapali and Wailea areas, Hana and the Hana Highway, Aieo Valley, Haleakala National Park, and locations for beach sports and activities. Native Hawaiian tradition gives the origin of the island's name in the legend of Hawaiiloa, the navigator credited with discovering the Hawaiian Islands. According to it, Hawaiiloa named the island after his son, who in turn was named for the demigod Maui. Maui's previous name was Aikapupalamiwa. The island of Maui is also called the Valley Isle for the large isthmus connecting its northwestern and southeastern volcanic masses. Maui's diverse landscapes are the result of a unique combination of geology, topography, and climate. Each volcanic cone in the chain of the Hawaiian Islands is built of basalt, a dark, iron-rich silica pore rock, which poured out of thousands of vents as highly fluid lava over millions of years. Several of the volcanoes were close enough to each other that lava flows on their flanks overlapped one another, merging into a single island. Maui is such a volcanic doublet, formed from two shield volcanoes that overlapped one another to form an isthmus between them. Looking into the Haleakala crater. The older, western volcano has been eroded considerably and is cut by numerous drainages, forming the peaks of the West Maui Mountains, in Hawaiian, Mauna Kahalawai. Pu'ukui is the highest of the peaks at 5,788 feet, 1,764 meters. The larger, younger volcano to the east, Haleakala, rises to 10,023 feet, 3,055 meters, above sea level and measures 5 miles, 8 kilometers, from the seafloor to the summit. The eastern flanks of both volcanoes are cut by deeply incised valleys and steep-sided ravines that run downslope to the rocky, windswept shoreline. The valley-like isthmus of Maui that separates the two volcanic masses was formed by sandy erosional deposits. Volcanic rocks protrude on a Maui beach. Maui's last eruption, originating in Haleakala's southwest rift zone, likely occurred between 1480 and 1600 Winkwitha. The resulting lava flows are located at Cape Na between Haihi Bay and La Perouse Bay on the southwest shore of East Maui. Considered to be dormant by volcanologists, Haleakala is thought to be capable of further eruptions. Maui is part of a much larger unit, Maui Nui, that includes the islands of Lanai, Kahola, Molokai, and the now submerged Penguin Bank. During periods of reduced sea level, including as recently as 200,000 years ago, they are joined as a single island due to the shallowness of the channels between them. Amalfi Coast, one of the most visited areas of Campania in the world. This stretch of coastline reaches from Positano to Vietri sul Mare along the Tyrrhenian coast of southern Italy. In front is the Gulf of Salerno, and behind it the Monte Letari. Its high cliffs, enchanting coves, and small bays, terraces dotted with citrus fruits, vines, and olive trees, and its high-fashion shops and artisan workshops make it one of the most popular destinations in the world. Included in the UNESCO World Heritage List as a perfect example of a Mediterranean landscape with scenery of great cultural and natural value, it is composed not only of internationally famous locations such as Amalfi and Positano, but also of small villages with an ancient atmosphere. What is the Amalfi Coast and where is it located? Extensive and fascinating, the Amalfi Coast is located between the Gulf of Naples and the Gulf of Salerno and includes 16 beautiful municipalities in the province of Salerno: Amalfi, Atrani, Cava de Turini, Satara, Conca dei Marini, Isla Sua Grata dello Smeraldo, Furor, Maiori, Minori, Priano, Positano, Rado, Ravello, Sant'Egidio del Monte Albino, Scala, Tremonti e Vietri sul Mare. The Amalfi Coast beaches are among the most beautiful in the Tyrrhenian Sea and in the world, although not very extensive due to the conformation of the coast, which is so impervious as to leave small, but marvelous, pebble cuttings between the cliffs. Equally popular, the Amalfi Coast Caves are an unmissable attraction for anyone wanting to descend into fascinating natural caverns. The Amalfi Coast, along the coast east of the Sorrento Peninsula, became a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1997. The motivations behind its protection are clear. It is an extraordinary cultural landscape of exceptional value achieved through the respectful relationship between man and nature. Its characteristic topography and historical evolution have allowed it to preserve a nature that is both unspoiled and harmoniously blended with human activities. The Mediterranean landscape is characterized by typical maquia, forests and rocky areas, and precious citrus trees and vineyards. The Amalfi Coast villages are delightful nativity scenes suspended over the sea. 6 key stops, starting with Positano, colorful houses, churches, flights of steps, narrow streets and tiled roofs framing the town overlooking the sea. The second, must-see stop is Amalfi, the town that has long held a monopoly on trade in the Tyrrhenian Sea and eastern markets. Its town planning seems to have an oriental influence, with its houses clinging to steep slopes, among labyrinths of alleys and stairways. The Amalfi Cathedral is an almost obligatory stop. A trip to the first pearl of the Amalfi Coast, Vietri-sur-Mer, is a feast for the eyes, alleys, shops, and colorful houses, almost as captivating as its traditional ceramic work. We continue on to Satara, a fishing village that seems suspended in time. Villa Simbrone in Ravello, dating back to the 11th century, is also worth a visit. The villa itself is a private hotel, but it is possible to admire the immense gardens that, thanks to the Terrazza dell'Infinito, have the most beautiful view of the Amalfi Coast. Ideal for hiking and trekking, the Path of the Gods is a 9-kilometer-long nature trail on the Amalfi Coast. It starts in Aggirola and ends in Positano. History and information on the Amalfi Coast. Formerly part of the Roman Empire, as destinations for 2024 Madeira. Madeira Portuguese officially the Autonomous Region of Madeira, Portuguese, Região Autonoma de Madeira, is one of 2 autonomous regions of Portugal, the other being the Azores. It is an archipelago situated in the North Atlantic Ocean, in a region known as Macaronesia, just under 400 kilometers, 250 miles, to the north of the Canary Islands and 520 kilometers, 320 miles, west of the Kingdom of Morocco. Madeira is geologically located on the African tectonic plate, although it is culturally, politically and ethnically associated with Europe, with its population predominantly descended from original Portuguese settlers. Its population was 251,060 in 2021. The capital of Madeira is Funchal, which is located on the main island's south coast. The archipelago includes the islands of Madeira, Porto Santo, and the Desertas, administered together with the separate archipelago of the Savage Islands. Roughly half of the region's population lives in Funchal. The region has political and administrative autonomy through the Administrative Political Statute of the Autonomous Region of Madeira, provided for in the Portuguese constitution. The autonomous region is an integral part of the European Union as an outermost region. Madeira generally has a very mild and moderate subtropical climate with Mediterranean summer droughts and winter rain. Many microclimates are found at different elevations. Madeira, originally uninhabited, was claimed by Portuguese sailors in the service of Prince Henry the Navigator in 1419 and settled after 1420. The archipelago is considered to be the first territorial discovery of the exploratory period of the Age of Discovery. Madeira is a popular year-round resort, particularly for fellow Portuguese, but also for British, 148,000 visits in 2021, and Germans, 113,000. It is by far the most populous and densely populated Portuguese island. The region is noted for its Madeira wine, flora, and fauna, with its prehistoric laurel forest, classified as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The destination has been certified by EarthCheck. The main harbor in Funchal has long been the leading Portuguese port in cruise liner dockings, an important stopover for Atlantic passenger cruises between Europe, the Caribbean and North Africa. In addition, the International Business Center of Madeira, also known as the Madeira Free Trade Zone, was created formally in the 1980s as a tool of regional economic policy. It consists of a set of incentives, mainly tax-related, granted with the objective of attracting foreign direct investment based on international services into Madeira. Santorini, Greek, Sigma Alpha Nu Tau Omicron Rho Nu Eta, Romanized, Santorini, pronounced, S-A-N, Durini, officially Thera, Greek, Theta Rho Alpha, Romanized, Thera, pronounced, Ira, and Classical Greek Thera, English /Thedar / is an island in the southern Aegean Sea, about 200 kilometers, 120 miles, southeast from the Greek mainland. It is the largest island of a small circular archipelago, which bears the same name and is the remnant of a caldera. It is the southernmost member of the Cyclades group of islands, with an area of approximately 73 square kilometers, 28 square miles, and a 2021 census population of 15,480. The municipality of Santorini includes the inhabited islands of Santorini and Eurasia, as well as the uninhabited islands of Ania Kameni, Palaya Kameni, Aspronisi, and Christiana. The total land area is 90.623 square kilometers, 34.990 square miles. Santorini is part of the Thera regional unit. The island was the site of one of the largest volcanic eruptions in recorded history, the Minoan eruption, sometimes called the Thera eruption, which occurred about 3,600 years ago at the height of the Minoan civilization. The eruption left a large caldera surrounded by volcanic ash deposits hundreds of meters deep. It is the most active volcanic center in the South Aegean volcanic arc, though what remains today is chiefly a water-filled caldera. The volcanic arc is approximately 500 kilometers, 300 miles, long and 20 to 40 kilometers, 12 to 25 miles, wide. The region first became volcanically active around 3 to 4 million years ago, citation needed, though volcanism on Thera began around 2 million years ago, with the extrusion of dacitic lavas from vents around Akrotiri. Santorini was named by the Latin Empire in the 13th century and is a reference to Saint Irene, from the name of the old church in the village of Parisa. The name Santorini is a contraction of the name Santa Irene. Before then, it was known as Calliste, Kappa Alpha Lambda Lambda Sigma Tau Eta, the most beautiful one, Strongyle, Sigma Tau Rho Omicron Gamma Gamma Lambda Eta, the circular one, or Thera. The name Thera was revived in the 19th century as the official name of the island and its main city, but the colloquial name Santorini is still in popular use. Thera is the ancient name and it was called like this because of Theras, the leader of the Spartans who colonized it, and gave his name to the island. History. Minoan Akrotiri. Springtime landscape in a fresco from the Bronze Age, Akrotiri. The Saffron Gatherers. Excavations starting in 1967 at the Akrotiri site under the late Professor Spiridon Marinatos have made Thera the best-known Minoan site outside Crete, the homeland of the culture. The island was not known as Thera at this time. Only the southern tip of a large town has been uncovered, yet it has revealed complexes of multi-level buildings, streets, and squares with remains of walls standing as high as 8 meters, all entombed in the solidified ash of the famous eruption of Thera. The site was not a palace complex as found in Crete, nor was it a conglomeration of merchant warehousing. Its excellent masonry and fine wall paintings reveal a complex community. A loom workshop suggests organized textile weaving for export. This Bronze Age civilization thrived between 3000 and 2000 BC, reaching its peak in the period between 2000 and 1630 BC. 8. Many of the houses in Akrotiri are major structures, some of them 3 stories high. Its streets, squares, and walls were preserved in the layers of ejecta, sometimes as tall as 8 meters, indicating this was a major town. In many houses, stone staircases are still intact, and they contain huge ceramic storage jars, python, mills, and pottery. Noted archaeological remains found in Akrotiri are wall paintings or frescoes that have kept their original color well, as they were preserved under many meters of volcanic ash. Judging from the fine artwork, its citizens were sophisticated and relatively wealthy people. Among more complete frescoes found in one house are 2 antelopes painted with a confident calligraphic line, a man holding fish strung by their gills, a flotilla of pleasure boats that are accompanied by leaping dolphins, and a scene of women sitting in the shade of light canopies. Fragmentary wall paintings found at one site are Minoan frescoes that depict saffron gatherers offering crocus stamens to a seated woman, perhaps a goddess important to the Akrotiri culture. The themes of the acrotiri frescoes show no relationship to the typical content of the classical Greek decor of 510 BC to 323 BC that depict the Greek pantheon deities. History. Minoan acrotiri. Springtime landscape in a fresco from the Bronze Age, acrotiri. The saffron gatherers. Excavations starting in 1967 at the acrotiri site under the late Professor Spiridion Marinatos have made Thera the best-known Minoan site outside Crete, the homeland of the culture. The island was not known as Thera at this time. Only the southern tip of a large town has been uncovered, yet it has revealed complexes of multi-level buildings, streets, and squares with remains of walls standing as high as 8 meters, all entombed in the solidified ash of the famous eruption of Thera. The site was not a palace complex as found in Crete, nor was it a conglomeration of merchant warehousing. Its excellent masonry and fine wall paintings reveal a complex community. A loom workshop suggests organized textile weaving for export. This Bronze Age civilization thrived between 300 and 2000 BC, reaching its peak in the period between 2000 and 1630 BC. 8. Many of the houses in acrotiri are major structures, some of them 3 stories high. Its streets, squares, and walls were preserved in the layers of ejecta, sometimes as tall as 8 meters, indicating this was a major town. In many houses, stone staircases are still intact, and they contain huge ceramic storage jars, python, mills, and pottery. Noted archaeological remains found in acrotiri are wall paintings or frescoes that have kept their original color well, as they were preserved under many meters of volcanic ash. Judging from the fine artwork, its citizens were sophisticated and relatively wealthy people. Among more complete frescoes found in one house are 2 antelopes painted with a confident calligraphic line, a man holding fish strung by their gills, a flotilla of pleasure boats that are accompanied by leaping dolphins, and a scene of women sitting in the shade of light canopies. Fragmentary wall paintings found at one site are Minoan frescoes that depict saffron gatherers offering crocus stamens to a seated woman, perhaps a goddess important to the acrotiri culture. The themes of the acrotiri frescoes show no relationship to the typical content of the classical Greek decor of 510 BC to 323 BC that depict the Greek pantheon deities. Kauai is geologically the second oldest of the main Hawaiian islands, after Niihau, citation needed. With an area of 562.3 square miles, 1,456.4 square kilometers, it is the 4th largest of the islands and the 21st largest island in the United States. 5. Nicknamed the Garden Isle, Kauai lies 73 miles, 117 kilometers, across the Kauai Channel, northwest of Oahu. It is the site of Waimea Canyon State Park and the Naupali Coast State Park. The United States Census Bureau defines Kauai as census tracts 401 through 409 of Kauai County, Hawaii, which comprises all of the county except the islands of Kaula, Lehua, and Niihau. The 2020 United States Census population of the island was 73,298. The most populous town is Kapa. Etymology and language. Hawaiian narrative derives the name's origin from the legend of Hawaiiloa, the Polynesian navigator credited with discovering the Hawaiian Islands. The story relates that he named the island of Kauai after a favorite son. A possible translation of Kauai is place around the neck, describing how a father would carry his child. Another possible translation is food season. Kauai was known for its distinct dialect of the Hawaiian language, which still survives in Niihau. While the standard language today is based on the dialect of Hawaii Island, which has no T sound, the Kauai dialect had this sound. This happened because the Kauai dialect had retained the old Polynesian /T/ sound, which has changed in the standard Hawaii dialect to K. This difference applies to all words with these sounds, so the native name for Kauai was pronounced Tauai, and Kapa was pronounced Tapa. History. Polynesian inhabitants settled on the island hundreds of years before Europeans arrived, as shown by excavations dating to as early as 200 AD to 600 AD. These first inhabitants, originally from the Marquesas Islands, lived undisturbed for around 5 centuries until a second wave of seafarers arrived by sea canoe from Tahiti. Many Hawaiian traditions and belief structures are rooted in the religion and practices that arrived with these Tahitians. In 1778, Captain James Cook arrived at Waimea Bay, the first European known to have reached the Hawaiian Islands. He named the archipelago the Sandwich Isles after his patron, the 6th Earl of Sandwich, George Montagu. During the reign of King Kamehameha, Kauai and Niha were the last Hawaiian islands to join his Kingdom of Hawaii. Their ruler, Kamwali'i, resisted Kamehameha for years. Kamehameha twice prepared a huge armada of ships